Right now, somewhere in your house, there are probably 23 different cleaning products. A spray for the glass, a spray for the counters, a separate one for the bathroom, another for the floors, one for stainless steel, one that smells like lavender, and one that smells like bleach, and you're not entirely sure which one you're supposed to use where anymore. You bought most of them because an advertisement told you that your kitchen counter and your bathroom tile have fundamentally different chemical needs. They don't. In Japan, a household typically cleans an entire home. Kitchen, bathroom, floors, windows, even laundry, with 2 ingredients you already have in your kitchen right now. Not a 5-step regimen, not a subscription box of specialty sprays. 2 ingredients, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. That's not a minimalist lifestyle trend. It's just better chemistry. So how did we end up with 23 bottles under the sink in the first place? The story starts in post-war America, in the boom years of the 1950s. This was the golden age of the chemical industry, and household cleaning became one of its biggest showcases. Every surface in the house was reframed as a unique problem requiring a unique solution. Companies didn't just sell you a cleaner, they sold you the idea that your bathroom tile and your kitchen counter were fighting completely different battles, and that using the wrong product on the wrong surface was practically a household hazard. It worked. By the 1980s, the average American home stocked more cleaning products than at any point in history, and an entire generation grew up believing that more bottles meant more clean. Japan took a different path, and the reason isn't some ancient mystical secret. It's economic and practical. Post-war Japan didn't have the same explosion of consumer chemical marketing. Cleaning stayed rooted in a much older idea, one tied to Shinto concepts of purity, where cleaning isn't just about removing dirt, it's a daily ritual of maintaining order. Order doesn't require complexity, it requires consistency. So the tools stayed simple, the routine stayed daily, and the result is a culture where a home gets cleaned every single day with almost nothing, instead of once a week with everything. Let's start with the first product, because this one alone replaces about half of what's under your sink: white vinegar. In Japanese households, this is often called sous cleaning, and it is the single most versatile tool in the entire system. Vinegar is acidic, and that acidity is the whole story. It dissolves mineral buildup, which is why it's extraordinary on limescale around faucets, shower heads, and kettles. The white, chalky crust that builds up from hard water simply can't survive contact with an acid. It cuts through soap scum on bathroom tile and glass. It breaks down grease film on stovetops and range hoods, the kind of sticky residue that regular soap just smears around instead of removing, and it deodorizes, not by masking smell with fragrance, the way most sprays do, but by neutralizing the odor-causing bacteria directly, which is why it's used to freshen cutting boards, garbage cans, and drains. The application is almost embarrassingly simple. Mix equal parts, white vinegar and water in a spray bottle. For windows and mirrors, spray and wipe with a dry microfiber cloth. No streaks, no residue, because vinegar evaporates clean. For limescale on fixtures, soak a cloth in undiluted vinegar, wrap it around the faucet or shower head for 15 minutes, then wipe. For grease on the stovetop, spray. Let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes to break down the film, then wipe. One caution worth knowing: never use vinegar on natural stone like marble or granite. The acid will etch the surface permanently. And never combine it with bleach, which produces toxic fumes. Outside of those 2 situations, vinegar is doing the job of glass cleaner, bathroom cleaner, deodorizer, and limescale remover, all from one bottle that costs a few dollars and lasts for months. The second product handles everything vinegar can't, and the 2 together cover nearly the entire house: baking soda or jutanso. Where vinegar is acidic, baking soda is mildly alkaline and mechanically abrasive, a fine, gentle grit. That texture is what makes it so effective on baked-on grime, stuck on food residue in pots and pans, and grease that's hardened rather than fresh. It also absorbs odors at a molecular level rather than covering them up, which is why an open box in the refrigerator actually works, and combined with a small amount of water, it becomes a soft scrub paste that can lift stains from sinks, bathtubs, and grout without scratching the surface the way a harsh abrasive cleaner would. For everyday counters and sinks, sprinkle baking soda directly onto a damp sponge and scrub. For tougher buildup, the kind you find around stove burners or in a neglected oven, mix baking soda with a small amount of water into a paste, spread it on the grime, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, then scrub and rinse. For carpets and fabric furniture, sprinkle dry baking soda, let it sit for 20 minutes to absorb odor, then vacuum. And here's where the two products become genuinely powerful together. Baking soda and vinegar combined create a fizzing chemical reaction, carbon dioxide bubbles forming as the acid and base react, and that fizzing action is what makes them so effective on stubborn drain clogs and grout lines. Pour baking soda into a clogged drain, follow with vinegar, let the reaction work for 15 minutes, then flush with hot water. Now let's walk through how this actually plays out across a real home, room by room. In the kitchen, vinegar water handles the counters, the stovetop, and the inside of the microwave. Just heat a bowl of vinegar and water for a few minutes, and the steam loosens stuck on food so it wipes away with no scrubbing at all. Baking soda paste handles the sink, any baked on residue on pots, and the inside of the oven. In the bathroom, vinegar takes the mirror, the glass shower door, and the lime scale on the faucet and shower head. Baking soda paste takes the bathtub, the tile grout, and, combined with vinegar, the drain. For floors, a diluted vinegar water mix in a bucket cleans most hard flooring without leaving the dulling residue that commercial floor cleaners often do. For windows, it's vinegar and a microfiber cloth. Every time, streak-free. And for general odor control across the house, closets, shoe cabinets, the refrigerator, an open container of baking soda quietly absorbs what's in the air, no plug-in air freshener required. So here's the truth underneath all of this. The 23 bottles under your sink aren't there because your house is more complicated than a Japanese home. They're there because an industry built its entire business model on convincing you that complexity equals cleanliness. It doesn't. Acid dissolves minerals and grease. A mild base with abrasive texture lifts grime and absorbs odor. That's the chemistry, and it hasn't changed in decades. Only the marketing around it has. Here's your action plan, starting today. Go to your kitchen right now and pull out a bottle of white vinegar and a box of baking soda. Odds are you already own both. Get a spray bottle, mix 1 part vinegar to 1 part water, and that's your glass and bathroom cleaner. Keep the baking soda dry in a shaker jar near the sink for scrubbing, and keep an open box in the fridge. Use them for 1 week instead of your usual products. Not as an experiment in minimalism, just as a test of whether your house actually gets any less clean. It won't. And once you see that, you can decide for yourself how many of those other 21 bottles you ever actually needed. If you found this useful, subscribe for the more URA Japan